challenging last month's election results. And for the first time ever, the case was broadcast on state television. The opposition MDC alliance narrowly lost the July 30th poll. It's accusing the governing ZANU-PF party and the Electoral Commission of fraud. For an update on events, Acie Lumumba joins me. He's a senior ZANU-PF strategist. Very good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Talk us through what happened in court today.
So, for anybody who ever wondered if there was independence in the institutions in the country attached to the president, today was a demonstration, not only to the country but to the world, that the president doesn't control all institutions. He allowed the courts to make up their mind and allow ZBC, the national broadcaster, to broadcast publicly the events of the courts.
Because there were real concerns running up to this, particularly from the MDC, that the court's possibly not fair.
Absolutely. And you know, over time we've heard the argument that there hasn't been media reforms in the country. Today was an indication that Zimbabwe is moving forward. There is a difference between President Emmerson Mnangagwa and President Mugabe. Secondly, we learned today just the depth of talent and gift, you know, both on the bench and that was in the advocates in the country. We saw some of the brightest minds in the country on all sides, whether they were representing the opposition, whether they were representing the respondents. We saw incredible talent in the country. The procedure that the Chief Justice laid out in the beginning was, first we were going to hear from the respondents whose affidavits had not been heard first. Secondly, we were going to decide if or not we were going to accept the submission they had made. Then we would go into the opposition, the big story, the reason why we are at court in the first place. After that, we would allow anyone who wanted to respond from the respondents to get involved in that. What we saw going through the process is the court was trying to ascertain one thing. What do you want? When you say you've come to court, why are you here? So the reason why the opposition went to court is they wanted one of two things. The first thing they wanted is they wanted the court to say this election should be nullified. It should be nullified because it was an illegal election. The second thing they wanted is the court should declare Nelson Chamisa a winner. And they were supposed to argue this. So the arguments went on brilliantly. There was one fundamental problem, and the problem was the opposition kept failing to answer one question. Where is the evidence? And no matter how many times you ask them, no matter what theory they came up with, they fundamentally failed to answer the most sacrosanct part of going to court: where is the evidence? And as a result, everything was done in a day. Everybody was allowed to speak, and court will make its final findings on Friday.
And are you confident that regardless of the findings, whatever the result is will be accepted by whoever the loser is? I mean, we saw violence in the run-up to the elections. What's being done to make sure that doesn't happen?
When we saw violence taking place in Zimbabwe on August 1st, the reason there was violence is there was an insinuation and a mandate sent into the public by the opposition to say we have won and we have been cheated. And we reiterated over and over again that you could be right. Perhaps you were cheated, but before you send people's children onto the ground to get hurt in your name, can you show how you won? And they said, oh, we've got overwhelming evidence. Can I tell you? They said we're bringing the highest A-team, dream team from across Africa to come and defend in court that our overwhelming evidence shows that we won. Guess what they did when they got to court? They failed to show any evidence. So will there be violence as a result? No. And you know why there won't be violence? Like I said at the pretext, Zimbabweans showed today just how smart they are.
Can I bring in some Zimbabweans and what they've been saying about the case? Let's quickly listen to that, please.
I think the court, they must do it in good faith so that everyone must be satisfied after the ruling of the court. No matter which party is it, or no matter which candidate is it, no matter what circumstances or anything that has been happening before, I think we are just expecting everything to be free and fair.
It's important that the Zimbabweans are appeased, right? And that the country gets back to business as quickly as possible.
And that's what the country wanted. That's all Zimbabweans wanted. Zimbabweans didn't want a result. Zimbabweans wanted a fair process, a process where everybody gets to be heard and the court gets to make up its decision. By the way, the court hasn't made up the decision, but what was clear and evident is the due process to allow the ears of the country to listen was given audience, to allow evidence to be brought forward was given the platform to do so. And in the end, my call is President Emmerson Mnangagwa proceeds with the inauguration inauguration. There simply was no evidence that, you know, you have to prove, the law of analysis is you have to prove evidence beyond reasonable doubt. That wasn't done today, and that's why I predict that the president will be inaugurated this weekend.
And let's leave it there. Acie, thank you very much.
Yes.